Hello, welcome to a 2v2 on Crossing in the Woods. This is going to be Jove and VonAsten versus Morace and Erguvan. Jove and VonAsten playing as mixed allies, Morace and Erguvan playing as mixed axis. So all four factions are going to be represented in this particular game. And I know Jove is a top 10 player in at least one leaderboard, probably multiple leaderboards. I know he's a great player. And everybody else, though, I don't really recognize. Maybe VonAsten, I think I've heard his name, but I don't recognize any of the other names here, so not sure what's going to happen. We'll see what they have to offer here in this game. American, Jove going with double rifleman start, VonAsten, the Soviet, going with conscript start straight into Maxims, Morace going with double Sturmpio start, which is an interesting decision on this map, and double Grenadier start from Erguvan as Osthair. And we also see some quick barbed wire going up on this sandbag position here from these rear echelon troops. I see people doing this a lot, but honestly I don't think it really makes that big of a difference at all. Especially this particular sandbag position. I think I've mentioned in a few of my casts before, this formation doesn't offer very good cover compared to most of the other green cover positions in the game. It looks like this engagement's going to go towards the Oberkommando player. Very close range engagement here. I don't think either of them noticed each other right off the bat there. They both just ran straight past, and then Jove realizes what's happening a little bit too late and is forced to make a hasty retreat. So that's a nice little early victory for the Oberkommando player over here on the left side. Meanwhile, over on the right, Jove is actually sending a rifleman squad over to the right, which would explain why his micro's already a little bit split up, even in the very beginning of the game. He's got riflemen to manage over here on the right side, Maxim moving up as well. So considering that there is a rifleman squad over here in addition to the Maxim and conscripts and such, it looks like the Allies will be able to take the forward munitions point across the river in addition to the fuel on the Allied side of the river. And as a result, the Oberkommando player is doing a good job pushing over here on the left, taking the fuel and the munitions and the victory point and such, since the American won't be able to dedicate the entirety of his forces to this. However, the capping power is somewhat reduced in that he went with the double Sturmpioneer start, so he doesn't have quite as many Volksgrenadiers on the field just yet. Over here, it looks like heavy damage is being inflicted to the Osthair player. Grenadier squad's getting not wiped, but taking heavy damage here right off the start, forcing some early retreats, and that machine gun is probably going to be forced away too. I'm surprised he hasn't retreated yet. There it goes. But over here we do see, Sturmpioneer's actually in a pretty bad position with that Maxim right there. I don't think he's watching the squad. Oh no, that is not good. Full Sturmpioneer squad goes down. That's gonna really hurt, and now it looks like the Axis is off to a pretty bad start with that early squad wipe right there. We take a look at the Osthair player. We do have 3 Grenadier squads now coming up. MG42 also getting reinforced. Over here on the left, the American, Jove, is making a push for some of the territory on the Axis side of the river. These Volksgrenadiers could get wiped if he doesn't pay attention here. Alright, he does see that, and he does get out of there just in time. Meanwhile, we've got a bit of a flank happening over here. These Grenadiers are rather wounded, though. They don't have access to any healing just yet. Grenadiers are actually not bad at wiping units on retreat if they can get them down low enough, but unfortunately that just didn't happen. Maxim turning to prevent a flank. Pioneers moving up to try to do what they can. These Grenadiers are taking heavy damage, though, and needs to retreat them. Looks like they will make it away just by a hair, but these guys are pinned by the Maxim. So letting them stay pinned so that these Pioneers can try to finish off the squad. They're actually doing quite nicely. These Grenadiers shouldn't have gotten in that house. Quickly making a retreat. Good move there. Meanwhile, over here on the left, American continues harassing the territory. It looks like the Oberkommando player hasn't made a push to counter that just yet. He's sending an MG34 over here, so that is a doctrine choice. It looks like Luftwaffe. No, fortifications, sorry. And the MG42 on the other side, laying down some good suppression. We do have some Uran conscripts moving in, another fresh rifle squad from Jove also moving in, continuing to harass over on the left, fighting position going up, still no counter from Morace. Actually, now he's moving a small force over to the left. Some Volksgrenadiers moving towards the munitions as well. The MG34 being left to pretty much defend for itself. It could actually get flanked by this squad of conscripts, but is heavily wounded. They may throw a Molotov, though. I do believe we have Molotov research, and he's going to immediately retreat, actually. Interesting. despite having support from his teammate. His Grenadiers, I think he maybe didn't have to do that, but chose to do so. Volley fire going out from the fighting position. No machine gun upgrade just yet. It's probably in the works. Yes, halfway done. And those Volks Grenadiers are actually going through red cover on the approach. Rifle grenades are well outside of the minimum range, unfortunately, so he won't be able to fire any more of those. And we do have a Panzerstrike squad moving up, but he's still standing in the rifle grenades, and the machine gun upgrade is about to complete. He needs to get out of the machine gun, otherwise he won't. Oh, jeez. That was a bit of a mistake right there, and the full Panzerstrike squad goes down in the river, the red cover. No grenades being thrown either. That was a bit of a tactical misstep by Morace. Unfortunately, I don't think he's going to be able to destroy this fighting position now, especially with two squads of riflemen there. And unfortunately, as I mentioned before, this sandbag position doesn't offer very good cover. And they're just getting picked off. I don't know what the deal is there. And he's not watching the squad, and he lets it go down. Jeez, that is very bad, and he really needs to retreat now. He actually risks losing that squad as well, with two squads of riflemen chasing, and the fighting position about to fire on them as they move through the red cover. Next volley could be bad. Looks like they will make it away. Fortunately, there is an MG-34 screening as well. Picking off lots of riflemen in the red cover, but it's going to be forced away, I think, by that flank. Yep, there it goes. Meanwhile, on the right, the Soviet is continuing to push very hard. The Austria player having no success at all, trying to get even this munitions point retaken, trying to get control over his side of the river. But hopefully that mortar half-track will change the situation a little bit. Nice damage going out from that incendiary mortar on the Maxim over there. In fact, he's having so much success in his push over on the right, he can dedicate some forces over here to the cutoff, giving Jove a lot of room to breathe and maneuver, taking and harassing the left side fuel. Axis really struggling at this point. Allies have had such an incredibly good start. Although if they get a little overly aggressive, it could open up some opportunities for the Axis to take out some full squads, make a bit of a comeback. And as we can see here, some of that over-aggression has caused pretty much a full retreat from VonAsten, and he's going to lose his hold, probably on his munitions, maybe even on the fuel over here. But Jove, on the other hand, is doing quite nicely. Over here on the left, lots of forces available to push back anything that goes anywhere, really, over here. And it looks like the Axis are spreading themselves out a little bit here. Grenadiers moving out to recapture some of this territory now that he's pushed back some of these Soviet squads. Jove doing a little bit of probing, trying to find weaknesses. He actually takes quite a bit of damage on that rival squad, but he does get the fuel captured before being forced to make a quick retreat, so he'll be able to get a little bit of extra fuel out of that, not anything particularly game-changing though. Ooh, nice flame burst on those retreating Grenadiers, and I think those shocks are probably going to wipe the squad on the retreat. Yes, there it goes. Completely eliminated, and it looks like he's going to be able to get those shock troops out of there without taking any casualties. One casualty. So that is an entire squad of Grenadiers down. Ooh. So 2 casualties. Nice use of that Maxim. Those Grenadiers are blobbed up really badly right there in the red cover. Grenade does go out. Ooh, nice damage from that grenade. In fact, only 1 casualty inflicted, but the mortar could potentially be devastating. 1 good mortar in the center of those clumped infantry. Conscripts also moving up to assist. Pinned. However, there's now an MG-34 setting up. Volks Grenadiers will be retreating, though, so it looks like, with the use of that Molotov, the Soviets with rifleman support are going to be able to maintain their hold on the middle, but with all this fighting, Erguvan has been able to send a spare squad over here to the right and take it unopposed. Looks like some wounded Grenadiers will be able to help with the capturing effort over there as well. Somehow, Jove managed to capture this point, which is right outside of the battle group headquarters, but it looks like Erguvan will be sparing a squad of Grenadiers to capture that back, and the medics will also be healing the Grenadiers while they do that, so that's good. And we do have a Schwerpanzer headquarters going up. Good to see it in a nice far back defensive position, defending the cutoff. Putting it too far up here on the road does leave it very vulnerable to AT gunfire, so that's a nice defensive position, and as long as it doesn't get RD'd too particularly badly, they shouldn't have to worry too much. They do know that the Soviet player has shock troops, so it's possible that there could be a B4. It's possible, I don't think that it's possible that there could be a standard howitzer. They're not necessarily 100% sure, but shock troops usually means that they went shock rifle or shock motor, and they're going into either an ISU or an IS-2. But it can mean counterattack tactics, meaning that there's going to be a B4. So it doesn't really tell you all that much, but it does mean that there won't be any guard rifles at the very least, so that's something. And that sort of opens you up to use Pumas and Looks Panzer II light tank a little bit more freely. So we'll see if he chooses to do that, and indeed he does, going with the Panzer II Looks, so that's going to be a good decision against their current opposition. And Erguvan has chosen Spearhead Doctrine, I believe, with the frag bombs, the recon Tiger tank, and of course the mortar half-track, so he was going to be using those, hopefully to very good effect. The mortar half-track is very nice on these river maps with the somewhat dangerous crossings, good for lobbing mortars over the river into the opponent's defensive positions. We also see Armor Company being chosen by Jove, which means that the only artillery he's going to have access to are the non-doctrinal pack howitzer, the M8 Scott, if you can count those as artillery, and the Armor Company artillery, which is actually quite good if it hits anything, and otherwise it's a little bit overpriced, I think. Stewart also hitting the field. We do see Captain Tech from Jove. Fighting position does get cleared by the mortar half-track, and it seems that the Axis are now working as a team over here on the left. Morace, not having too much success penetrating through the Soviet Maxims over on the right side, decides to assist his teammate and simply holding the left until they can field some heavier units. Definitely a good decision if you're getting pushed back to help with your teammates' efforts. As the Axis in these team situations are often greater than the sum of their parts, utilizing team weapons to as good effect as possible. Unfortunately, that first pack shot missed, so that Stewart managed to get away without taking all too much damage. Schwer Panzer Headquarters actually suppresses these shock troops, and then they're forced to move back a little bit. I don't think that they are going to get unsuppressed under Grenadier fire, but for some reason he just retreated. I think he didn't realize that those shock troops were suppressed. He was too busy microing things over here, didn't realize they were suppressed, just saw shock troops next to his Grenadiers and sort of as a knee-jerk reaction just hit retreat, when really all he had to do was dodge that grenade, and then he could have probably forced them away, but it's alright because his teammate quickly follows up with some Volksgrenadiers and Sturm Pioneers, forcing away those shock troops, and he's also going to possibly be able to win this engagement against these assault engineers if he can spread out a little bit and dodge those flame bursts. Unfortunately, the Stewart is moving up. The assault engineers are pushed back, but the Stewart will be able to push these units back as well. He should probably retreat. He doesn't want to bleed. He's so clumped. Oh god, he should have retreated. That was a mistake. He might even lose that squad. Shot missed. One more could kill it, but he does not chase. He shouldn't have stood there in the first place, but feeble attempt at penetrating over on the right. They're really just probing with those Pioneers to see if there's any defenses, and indeed there are, so that's not going to work for now. Nice shot from the Stewart, giving a bunch of Volksgrenadiers right there. The Stewart is one of those units that is easy to underestimate. It just doesn't make a very intimidating noise when it fires, and the explosion radius is so small, but you'd be surprised how often it can snipe infantry. It's actually quite good at taking out retreating units as well, and has quite nice accuracy, so don't underestimate the Stewart. It can bleed you quite hard. And there was a tournament game in the Super Cup, I believe, Vipux against Run to the Sun. That was a fun game to watch. I don't know if you caught it, but in it, Vipux had a Vet 3 Stewart in round 3 with, I don't know, 25 or 30 kills or something like that. He really made good use of that, and it was on this map as well, so the Stewart is actually quite a good unit, and it's good to see that getting used. Looks getting AT grenaded here by some conscripts, barely making it out of there alive, and there is a field gun firing on the Looks. That one first shot just missed, fortunately. Now it's in the fog of war, the field gun's not able to see it. If he had used attack ground, he may have been able to get a lucky shot, but unfortunately he didn't, and the Looks is going to stay alive, and it's up to 9 kills in Vet 1 now, so he's making good use of that, but he does need to get it repaired as quickly as possible. Meanwhile, Jove is making a pretty big push right through the center here, and the Allies are doing a good job of maintaining this victory point, despite the fact that they are not in control of this fuel, but they do have control of both high munitions points, and they are pushing hard right into the battle group headquarters here. So things are looking pretty good for the Allies at this point. If they can maintain the victory point control for just a few more minutes, in fact, if they have all three, they will win the game. And the Axis really needs to stop the clock by taking control of at least one of these victory points as soon as possible, because it's only 15 minutes into the game and they're not going to have any really heavy armor for quite some time still. Still 3 points away from Tiger, for example. Wow, I can't believe that Volksgrenadier squad just made it. That's got to be frustrating for Jove. They just could not quite finish it off. And Shell Shock goes in on the looks. Nice use of Shell Shock right there, stunning it right there in the middle of the field gun's arc of fire. Didn't stand a chance. Volksgrenadiers try to move up to retaliate against that Stuart, but it's just not going to happen. And that was a way over-aggressive push with that looks. Definitely should not have done that. Captain needs to be careful. That house is dangerously close to collapse. A big push coming up here from Morace, flanking this field gun. But we actually have a bulldozer Sherman hitting the field. Oh, the bulldozer actually destroys the house. Good thing he evacuated that captain just in the nick of time, or that would have been a devastating case of friendly fire. Field gun rotating possibly for a high explosive barrage. We also have shocks moving up. Nice Shrek snipe right there. Takes one squad member out right off the bat. We also have these shock troops getting suppressed by another MG42 over here. This pack is also doing good work, preventing any too aggressive pushes by the Allied armor. Very nice use of team weapons by Erguvan, supporting his teammate and making sure that his base is safe. Because if he were to lose his battle group headquarters, that would be a devastating loss. They probably would not be able to hold on to much of it to this fuel point any further should that happen. So good job by Erguvan, making sure that none of these pushes are able to break through with a nice machine gun screen here, a nice pack as well. Although he needs to be careful not to overextend past the river, because if he were to lose those teammates to the those team weapons to the Allies, that would be disastrous to say the least. High explosive barrage going out, but simply repositions. It's good to make sure that you notice things like that. You can't simply set up your team weapons and then go AFK with them and just sort of deal with other threats on the map. You have to constantly be checking on them, making sure that they're in good condition, they're facing the right way, and they're not taking too much indirect fire. And you can do that with this display up here, by the way. If you're too busy microwaving other areas of the map, they will say, oh, we're under attack or whatever, and this icon, this under attack icon, will start flashing. You double click to look, see what the situation is, and if everything's under control, you can go back to whatever you were doing. And in this case, it looks like everything is just fine. Although that Molotov was problematic. Did pack up and reposition, but it looks like the conscripts are going to get clear of his arc of fire. Oh, or possibly not. Looks like they are going to be taking a bit of damage there. Pioneers are actually going to move up to try and do some close range damage to them while they're suppressed. Jove sending out some smoke grenades, trying to block fire from the team weapons as he crosses the river, and it looks like that machine gun could be in trouble. He repositions it once more. Very nice use of this machine gun. It's constantly moving and repositioning, try and get into an optimal position, and it does manage to suppress that rifle squad despite their use of their smoke grenade. This machine gun keeping that rifle squad pinned down. Very nice use of these machine guns for sure. Another smoke grenade going out, but they're already pinned, and these Panzer Grenadiers have one MP44 remaining in the squad, and they should be able to keep those riflemen pinned if they would just fire. Looks like he is going to retreat. So, very nice use of the team weapons by Erguvan. He doesn't let their push break through. He does maintain control of that fuel point. But he is rather desperately in need of healing and reinforcing on at least one of those machine guns. And meanwhile, on the right side, an Obersoldaten squad is going to get taken out by Jove Stuart, which is continuing to maintain dominance over all of these elite infantry. Very nice use of that Stuart there. And the Germans continue to starve for munitions, not able to hold the right side of the map. But at the very least, the clock is slowed. They have taken control of this victory point here, and they actually decapped this one. Jove is about to remedy that situation, though. And we do have a push going in for the middle here. This Maxim's taking quite a bit of damage. There's also a fighting position there, but 19 minutes into the game, fighting positions really become less and less of a factor. In fact, it's almost a waste of manpower to build them at all, where they're in a direct line of fire, like in the middle of this road here. It makes more sense to put it behind a shot blocker and just take advantage of the rifle grenades, since that's pretty much the only thing it's going to be good for because it can be destroyed by a very small number of pack shots, which is probably what's about to happen here. We do have an IS-2 hitting the field, so it looks like VonAsten did go shock rifle and rushed the IS-2. There was no KV-8. He went straight for the heavy tank, and he already has 250 fuel more, so he's going to be building another one. And I actually think that this is a mistake. I think you should bring in the KV-8 as soon as you have the 9 command points and take advantage of the mid-game benefits that it gives you. If you go straight into IS-2s, then you give the Axis just that much more time to survive and put a big push together. If he had brought in a KV-8 2 command points ago, I think that we would be looking at an entirely different game. But either way, the Axis has done a good job preparing for these tanks. We have lots of packs. We have a Raketenwerfer. If we take a look at Morace, we will see 3 Panzerschrecks, very nice. And Erguvan, of course, has his screens of Grenadiers, which can provide Panzerfausts and engine damage and that kind of thing. And if we actually take a look at the border half-track, we'll see that his Vet 3 has 40 kills. Wow. So that has been doing excellent work for pretty much this entire game. Definitely a good response to the Maxims. It's a good response just to the map in general as well. So hopefully he'll be able to keep that thing firing and keep making great use of that unit. Heavy damage going out on that Rifleman squad. It looks like it won't get away either with these Obersoldaten moving up to fire on them as they cross the river. So that's a Vet 3 bar upgrade squad getting taken out. Very nice play by Morace with those Obersoldaten. That's actually their very first kill of the match, taking out a Vet 3 rifle squad, so they made a very grand entrance. We also have a Tiger hitting the field from Erguvan. Hopefully he'll be able to make good use of that, but he does need to be careful. It will certainly force that Steward away. And time is running out. They have only 75 points remaining, but it looks like they are finally getting control of the situation, decapping the central victory point. Still have a nice screen of units over here on the left. Nothing's going to be taking that victory point without a very hard coordinated push. Lots of damage going out on anything that tries to push through, almost taking out yet another full squad. And really the biggest threat to them right now is this IS-2, I would say, is what they really need to worry about, but fortunately they've been making good use of packs. They do have a Tiger, and they should be able to deter it, but at the same time the Allies have their own fair share of AT guns, so it's going to be hard for the Axis to push through the middle themselves. I think that this point is probably going to see a lot of corpses before the game is through.
Our opponents are seizing a sector.
Nice incendiary mortar going off right there. That's going to deal heavy damage to these team weapons. We do note that the Jove has gone with a pack howitzer, and I think he was a little late to purchase that, but hopefully that'll be able to make a bit of an impact here now that, now that he has it. Ouch. That rear echelon troop squad just went down, leaving that bazooka free for the taking. I believe that that is the captain's bazooka originally. If we take a look, yes, only one bazooka in the captain's squad, so that is the captain's bazooka, and he may actually be reclaiming it here in a minute, although he is taking heavy fire from machine guns. And the IS-2 is actually getting way too aggressive, hits a teller mine, and the engine gets damaged. And it's so overextended, I'm not sure what he was thinking there. He must have been chasing an Obersoldaten squad, but that is just not something he could afford to do. The Tiger's being mobilized, the pack, some Panzerschrecks, a Panther from Morace, and suddenly this IS-2 has no chance of escaping this situation. I think that he got a little bit cocky there and just threw that heavy tank away. Tiger actually almost hits a Soviet mine right there, but fortunately it just didn't happen. And we actually also have, this gun is on fire right here. I'm not sure how that's on fire. I don't know what happened there, but it's dead, so nice work there. And the Panther actually hits the Soviet mine, but there's absolutely no way for the Allies to follow up on that, so far behind enemy lines. And it looks like the Axis are now doing much better for territory. They finally get a hold on the munitions point over here. This point's still decapped. We do have an American AT gun in the Steward over here, which will be able to deter like small pushes, but they won't be able to stop a full-blown assault. And the fighting for the central point continues to be extremely brutal. It looks like Erguvan will recover the bazooka, although he probably will need to retreat. He doesn't want to lose all of that to a Bulldozer Sherman or Pack Howitzer shot. Pack Howitzer is up to 8 kills. Bulldozer Sherman's up to 4. Mortar half-track has 51, so the Axis indirect fire superiority is very stark in this particular battle so far. Tiger being engaged by quite an impressive assault here, but unfortunately there's a rather lacking amount of anti-tank. They do try and crew this field gun, and the Panther's firing on it. It's actually not going to fight. It looks like this was simply an attempt to recover the field gun and make it back to his side of the river. Tiger probably not going to let that happen, though. Oh, shot misses, though, and there is an allied AT gun right there. It does have that one, so it could utilize take aim, and the Tiger is going to get pushed away. So a few unlucky shots against the field gun there by the Tiger, as well as just sort of wasting a few shots on infantry over here. Allow the allies to recover that AT gun, and that is a big victory for them because they really need all the AT guns they can muster, but they will need to reinforce it and repair it through echelon troops. Always check on your team weapons, weapon health, which is the white bar underneath the red bar right there, and if it's quite damaged, then you really risk losing it to indirect fire like a Stuka or even just a lucky tank shell. So it's really important to keep those repaired as the game progresses, or you may end up losing the entire weapon, and of course when the weapon is destroyed, the entire squad will rout.
The squad of pioneers has arrived.
By rout I mean run off the battlefield. That's not something you want happening. We also have another IS-2 probing around here on the right side. I'm not sure why he's being so overly aggressive with it, though. He certainly doesn't want to lose it the same way he lost the first one, and it was a very nice teller mine placed by Erguvan. Very smart. I would not be surprised to see him throw down a second one, but it's unlikely that his opponent will make the same mistake twice. So maybe he figures his munitions would be better spent on other purchases. Once again, we have troops being just blindly thrown at the victory point. You'd think by now they would realize that this machine gun screen is not going anywhere. It looks like we have an incendiary barrage coming in on a few of the team weapons over here, but the machine gun is going to reposition. And the pack is also going to reposition. Thanks to the high level of veterancy, they're quite durable, and no real damage gets inflicted by that artillery. So good dodge by Erguvan there, who also is about to have his Tiger fully repaired, and it is almost Vet 1. It's got 14 kills, so he's making good use of it so far. We also have a fresh looks on the field. Might be a little bit late for that, but we'll see if he's able to make any good use of it. Pack howitzer is also up to 9 kills, doing what it can. And more fighting is happening for the central victory point here. It looks like things are slowly being whittled away for the Axis. They're now going to fall just below 70 points, but they quickly get the point decapped once again. So they're not totally losing control of the situation, but their units are taking heavy damage from indirect fire here. And oh, Pack Howitzer wipes the squad. He gambled and lost. I think he really wanted to capture the point, but when you have only one man remaining and you're taking that much fire, you really just need to get out of there and try again. It's not worth losing the squad, and the clock was stopped. It wasn't ticking against them, and the clock wasn't even moving. The point is decapped, so I think that was a bit of a mistake. We actually have a second mortar half-track hitting the field here, up to 59 kills now, trying to take out the Pack Howitzer, doing a little damage to the Maxim machine gun as well. So, just trying to get even more mileage out of these indirect fire units. I think getting a second one may have been an overkill, but we'll see. We'll see if it pays off. Lots of armor moving up. Looks actually in the front. That may have been a bit of a mistake there. However, the AT gun rapidly gets cleared by the overwhelming might of this Axis armor. The captain's probably not going to survive too long either, and we actually have shots going off against the Stuart, which is now Vet 3. Shots coming in from this allied AT gun as well, though. Captain taking heavy damage, and he really needs to get out of there, but he does manage to capture the point, and the clock will begin ticking against the Axis once again. Panther takes heavy damage from AT gun fire and has to retreat. We also see that the Tiger is going to be pushed back. AT gun is using take aim and therefore has extremely long range. Probably see these mortar half-tracks being used to try to clear the veterancy off of that as soon as possible. And the IS-2, which hasn't really shown its face yet, is going to be probing the left side. It does catch this AT gun slightly off guard, but its shot misses, unfortunately. The Tiger, taking a little bit of damage, is going to have to pull back. It's getting shot by a lot of AT guns, and it really needs to fall back a little bit here. White phosphorus rounds actually coming in from the pack howitzer, and I think that obscures vision. Yeah, it does. So it's actually going to help. It's actually going to help them maintain control over this. It would help them cap it if they needed to cap it, but they've got it. So the clock continues ticking, now falling below 50 points. The Axis really needs to get a much better handle on this central victory point, and if they can't do that, then they need to make a real push for the right side. And it looks like Morace is going to be going in on the right, but without support from his teammate, I'm not sure if it will succeed. We do have assault engineers over here. We have a few mines laid, it looks like. We have an AT gun and a stolen MG34, so things could be difficult. However, we do see that the Panzer catches this squad of assault engineers alone, so that's definitely a win there. Obersoldaten getting pushed back by various weapons. Bulldozer Sherman definitely doing nicely. Jove was not watching that assault engineer squad though, and that's going to go down. Looks like we do have a pretty serious push going for the left by the Allies though. If they can capture this left side victory point, that will definitely end the game quite quickly. And they're going to flank around the lone defending pack. And it looks like this Tiger and Panther are going to be mobilized over there to help counter. We also have a pack moving over. Oh, that pack just alone was not able to accomplish much, and these IS-2s are a serious problem. And they're going to take advantage of the defenses being down by going for the victory point, but we do have the Tiger moving up, we do have the Panther moving up, we do have the pack moving up. Oh, nice crew shock right there from Erguvan. That was, or from something. How did that happen? I don't know, something stunned it, and it is not going to escape, I don't think. It gets taken down by the Tiger right there, very nice. And the Tiger and Panther are going to chase, it looks like. Going to chase this IS-2 over here. Taking heavy damage though, and I think he's going to be forced to back off. Yes, he's going to use Blitz to try to escape. He does have Panzer Strike Squad moving up to assist. Tiger also laying some damage in, and the IS-2 will not be able to chase that Panther down. So good use of Blitz there to escape that particular situation. And the Tiger is coming quite close to taking the IS-2 out completely. A few shots are bouncing. It's getting a little overly aggressive, though. He definitely should not chase. I don't think it will survive if it does. There is an AT gun here, Vet 2. Oh, geez. Oh, and it just wasted a shot. And it's now crew shocked. That's... I think he's gotten overly aggressive here. Shocked again. And the Tiger is destroyed. With a lot of combined arms fire. That's a shame that he did that.
Crew, get ready.
The Panther, on the other hand, is going to be getting repaired. So, fortunately, Morace exercised a little bit more restraint than his teammate, and if we look at Erguvan's resources, we do see 330 fuel, so as soon as he has the manpower, he will be bringing in a new Tiger. And in the midst of all of this combat, the Axis have stopped the clock once again at just under 30 points. But the Allies are about to get the clock ticking once more with this Vet 3 squad of conscripts, unless they're stopped by this advancing force of infantry, which it looks like they are. Obersoldaten now working on point, and Obersoldaten are one of the worst units you can possibly use to capture in the midst of a heated battle like this because of their small squad size and their very heavy reinforced costs, but it looks like beggars can't be choosers in this particular situation. It's either them or these Sturm Pioneers. They are going to start taking heavy damage though. A lot of damage going in on that bulldozer there. It actually looks like it's going to get stuck with some pathing issues right there. Does round the corner. Panther is in quite good condition for health. It pops Blitz. It's gonna be tight here though. It looks like it can target the Sherman from that particular angle, and the Sherman got a little cocky, and rather than continuing to circle, he left it idle, and it immediately went down to one well-placed Panther shot at point-blank range. Meanwhile, lots of indirect fire going in. We've got incendiary rounds and other various mortars and things, and The Panther's going to make it out of there, get to safety. We actually are up to 69 kills on this mortar half-track now, doing just devastating amounts of damage to all the team weapons that continue to set up over here. Very nice use of that this entire time, and we have this Lux also moving up. And it will be able to wipe that Lieutenant squad. Nice play there as well, and the Axis are continuing to push the center hard. Oh, nice shot by that AT gun right there. This one may also be firing. White Phosphorus barrage actually going to be blocking vision and doing a little bit of damage to this machine gun. So that's interesting. Oh, gets shot by the AT gun. He needs to get that out of there. Needs to get it out of there. Oh, and it's destroyed by a shot from the pack howitzer. I don't think he saw that happening. That's a shame that he loses that Vet 3 mortar half-track. He does still have 2 more, though. He's really investing heavily into these mortars. They're doing quite nicely for him. But it's a shame that he lost that Vet 3 one, because it was definitely quite an asset. We do have more incendiary artillery coming in on the machine gun defending that victory point. The battle for the central victory point continues to rage. So many weapons pointed at that victory point, making it incredibly deadly for either team to attempt to capture it. We do have White Phosphorus blocking vision once again. He's making very heavy use of that ability, for sure, for both the damage potential and also the sight blocking smoke effects, but it looks like the Pioneers are going to charge through regardless. Oh god, taking heavy damage from the pack howitzer. It's just really racking up the kills now. Certainly nowhere near what that mortar half-track was doing, but it is getting the job done. That being said, the Pioneers do capture the point, and they get out of there just as a Stuka barrage is coming in. And it's quite a nice one, clearing one AT gun and dealing heavy damage to the other team weapons in the area. And finally, the Axis do own this central victory point once again, which is turning into a mass graveyard quite quickly. Fresh Tiger hits the field. We also have some Panzer Grenadiers up to defend against armor. And it looks like the IS-2 that Tiger was chasing earlier has finally been repaired and is going to be making a push on the left side, trying to clear any screening units, but it hits a teller mine right there. What an unfortunate situation. That's the second teller mine that he has run over, trying to pull off a flank with an IS-2. Such good teller mine usage by Erguvan this game. It is unbelievable how effective those have been for him. And these heavy tanks are literally tripping over each other, trying to respond to this opportunity. They know that there's an engine-damaged IS-2 over there, and they are rapidly mobilizing, trying to take it out. As soon as this AT gun is spotted, we see zeroing artillery being dropped on it. It looks like it could get clear of the blast area, though. Yes, it will. The Panther is going to try to circle around the IS-2, though, kind of having a little bit of trouble, and as the second IS-2 moves up, it's actually moving back into the zeroing artillery. Oh god, it's so much friendly fire, and it gets abandoned! It was at almost 60% health, and it gets abandoned by his own zeroing artillery. That's devastating. At the same time, this IS-2 was blocking the damaged one's pathing, though, and it gets destroyed by a lot of combined arms fire from Pax and Panzerschrecks. And in fact, the second one may suffer the same fate if he doesn't get it out of there soon. This Panther, however, is quite a liability. Fortunately, he does destroy it with a pack in the back, not wanting to hand a Panther over to the enemy. So that was definitely a tactically correct decision there, or strategically correct, I should say. Because there was really no chance of them recovering a Panther that got abandoned so far behind enemy lines. Stuka barrage going out, and the AT gun there is utterly destroyed. There have been not really particularly many attempts at keeping these team weapons repaired. No preservation whatsoever. He just keeps cranking out new ones. It's just easier, I guess, and more efficient than trying to also maintain a bunch of rear echelon troops. He especially has no ambulance or anything like that in this particular area. Tiger getting a little overextended here in the center. I hope he doesn't lose another one, taking a bit of damage from that Vet 3 AT gun. No AT or AP rounds being popped. However, he does not want to lose that central victory point. He really can't afford for that to happen, and he needs to keep that Tiger in range so that he can continue laying fire on it, but it's really quite difficult for him to hit with all of these variations in terrain caused over the course of the game from craters. And that Maximus, it looks like it may actually survive to get this point captured. I don't know, maybe not. The Tiger is taking too much damage and it's forced away, unfortunately. Heavy damage going out on the looks. That's going to get forced away too. Oh, nice shot. Those AT guns with take aim have deceptively long range. Not to mention there have been a few videos posted, which I don't know if you've caught them or not on Kotu.org, but sometimes the just like randomly AT gun shells will fly way beyond their maximum range and can have hilarious and deadly effects. Looks like that did not happen here though, and the Tiger will be alright. Unfortunately, the looks is just a smoking husk of its former glory. Only 19 points remaining, and the Allies are really holding on for dear life here. Oh, what a mortar, though. Takes out that full squad. And this bulldozer is doing everything it can to defend, but it just got target weak pointed, I think, by this pack right here. Yes, it did, and it got stunned. Panzerschreck shots going off, pack shots going off, and that bulldozer had no chance of survival. Looks like we have more incendiary artillery falling in on the Tiger, trying to kill the repairing squads, but he backs out of the area of effect just in time. Retreating Panzerschreck squad looks like it will survive as well. Oh, more Stuka barrage is firing, and I believe that cleared a field guard over there on the left. However, this one managed to dodge. 44 kills now on the pack howitzer, 47. Only about 22 more, and it will surpass the legendary mortar half-track. And we do have this IS-2 freshly repaired, hitting the field once again. He really likes IS-2s, no doubt about that. And unfortunately, he has hit a lot of Tellermines with them, but it looks like he has no more Tellermines to worry about. Despite surprisingly not having purchased a Minesweeper, Erguvan just hasn't had the opportunity to lay any more of them. So busy with other parts of the battle. It looks like this point will get decapped, and that's going to be very bad news for the Axis, which means that they no longer have that clock-stopping power of that victory point. These Grenadiers are quickly making an attempt at recapturing. Only 10 points remaining. Fortunately, the Allies don't hold this, and it looks like these Obersoldaten are heroically doing everything they can to stop that clock from running out. Shock troops, unfortunately, are not being monitored, and that's a full squad down to MG fire. And they will get the clock stopped once again at 5 points. Things are really looking desperate for the Axis here. But I'm not sure if the Allies are going to be able to get that clock to fully run out. We do have a Tiger here. We do have the IS-2, but it's been heavily damaged. If it makes another push, it may not survive. Oh, and VonAsten just dropped. Oh no. Well, now it's pretty much just up to Jove. Now it's pretty much just up to Jove to win pretty much by himself. It's gonna come down a little bit to what the AI chooses to do with these heavy tanks, and already I'm a little bit concerned. That's very unfortunate that he would drop with only 5 points remaining. Stuka barrage going out. Oh no. Oh no.
Enemy forces are securing our territory.
Obersoldaten will get pushed off over here. The AI just about immediately called in a KV-8. We'll see if it does anything useful with that. It is going to clear an MG-34 off the point, it looks like. Meanwhile, the fight for the center continues. IS-2 is just so heavily damaged, but it goes in anyway, and I'm afraid that pack might take it out. Yes, it does. AI made no attempt at repairing it before sending it in and just throws it away for no reason. That is just a shame. Pack howitzer continues to deal devastating damage. It is up to 55 kills and just a couple more shots, and it's going to be probably the most devastating piece of artillery produced this game. More white phosphorus being fired. Bulldozer Sherman doing what it can. Oh, and that was actually a mortar. We do have a Vet 2 mortar from VonAsten. And that's one of the units that the AI presumably won't use too terribly, although I'm not sure what's about to happen over here.
Is taking our territory.
Smoke barrage being fired by the mortar while the AI attempts to capture the victory point. Meanwhile, the KV-8's just, I don't even know what, giving the Tiger free veterancy. Although the Tiger's leaving himself a little bit exposed here. I think that may have even been accidental. He pops the Panzer Tactician Smoke to get himself out of harm's way. Morace is actually going in deep with a Panther against that Bulldozer Sherman. He knows that a lot of AT guns have been cleared by the Stuka, and it looks like this is a gamble that could pay off. Not much here that can stop him now that the IS-2 has been thrown away. We do have an AT gun shot hitting from somewhere. Not sure where that hit from. Stuka barrage is going to go in. Oh, hit from over here, and he doesn't want to risk losing the Panther, so he's pulling back. Stuka barrage does some pretty healthy damage here as well, and it does decrew the pack howitzer, unfortunately, so that is a lot of veterancy gone. The kill counter will get reset, and it just never, I don't think it ever did manage to surpass that mortar half-track, so that 69 kill mortar half-track, still the best piece of indirect fire built this match. It doesn't look like anything's going to top that. The Bulldozer Sherman does manage to survive. KV-8's actually still alive over here, fortunately. Tiger also getting repaired, but the Axis still hold the victory point, and if Jove doesn't make something happen soon, he's rapidly going to lose control. If we take a look at his units, we do see, oh no, heavy damage going out on that Bulldozer Sherman. Oh, he didn't react in time. He did not react in time. That was a nice aggressive push by those packs, and that is going to be bad news for him. He's also, his team weapons are getting cleared out over here by some Obersoldaten. Looks like those engineers are also going to be in a bit of trouble. Jove's army now looking very small, trying to capture here with these rear echelon troops. And he will get the point decapped, but I really don't think he's going to be able to capture this. And they get wiped out, and he's now down to nothing but 2 machine guns he's recovered from other players and his 2 AT guns. Meanwhile, the Axis have a massive army over here, and it doesn't look like Jove is going to be able to recover from this situation, and it's definitely a shame that VonAsten dropped. I think that the Allies could have won this if that hadn't happened. KV-8 also goes down to the Panther over here. The AI making lots of team weapons and continuing to fight for the right side. Stuka firing once more, and I think that killed just about everything Jove had, actually. Wiping out his AT gun here, one of his machine guns. His other AT gun was just about killed by infantry. He had just really nothing left. And he surrendered. Wow, what a comeback by the Axis. Honestly, I really wish VonAsten had not dropped, because I cannot say for certain who was going to win that game before that happened. Unfortunately, after that happened, Jove really stood no chance. So, a little bit disappointing in that regard, but I don't want to undersell the Axis achievement in winning this game. They certainly played quite nicely. A few little mistakes, like throwing away that Tiger over there, losing that mortar half-track to an AT gun / pack howitzer shot. Just a few little things, kind of little speed bumps on the road to victory. Kept things very close. This game was on a razor's edge pretty much the entire time. That victory point counter just slowly whittling away, and I was not sure who was going to win that there. And I'm still not sure who would have won it had VonAsten stayed in the game. Gotten that IS-2 repaired, maybe called in a second one. All the teller mines were gone. I don't know. But regardless, it was a very intense and exciting game to watch. I hope you enjoyed it. If you did, feel free to send me a replay of your own. I'm happy to do a cast for you. Otherwise, thanks for watching.